Three gunshots shattered a Bali honeymoon suite at 11:47 p.m. Blood pooled beside champagne flutes. A pilot who once navigated storms at 40,000 feet couldn't navigate the storm in his heart. She lay motionless on the balcony, her phone buzzing with messages from the man who destroyed their marriage. He sat frozen, weapon in hand, honor shattered like glass. What would you do if your spouse's secret affair wasn't just betrayal, but public humiliation that could destroy your family name forever? Tonight we dive deep into a love story that became a murder case. Have you ever trusted someone so completely that their betrayal felt like death itself? Welcome to True Crime Journal HQ. Thanks to all our viewers and subscribers for your support. Stay with us for daily update on the most shocking true crime stories. Don't forget to subscribe. Captain Rami Al-Sayegh didn't just fly planes. He commanded respect at 40,000 feet. Born into one of Dubai's oldest merchant families, he grew up watching his grandfather close million-dirham deals with nothing but a handshake. Honor wasn't just a word in the Al-Sayegh household, it was oxygen. Reputation was everything. Break your word, and you broke your bloodline. By 25, Rami had earned his captain's stripes with Emirates, navigating Boeing 777s across continents, while other pilots his age were still learning to taxi. His uniform wasn't just fabric, it was armor that carried his family's legacy through international airspace. Colleagues respected him. Passengers felt safer knowing he was in the cockpit. His salary. Let's just say his apartment overlooked the Burj Khalifa and his garage housed a Maserati. But success has a price. While Rami was conquering the skies, loneliness was conquering him. Flight 2847 from Dubai to London changed everything. Rami was doing his routine cabin walk when he spotted her in first class, Liana Rahman, 28, reading a travel magazine like she owned the world. Malaysian features, designer everything, and eyes that could stop traffic in Times Square. She wasn't just beautiful, she was magnetic. "Enjoying the flight?" he asked, breaking his own rule about passenger interactions. Liana looked up, smiled, and said something that would haunt him later. "I always enjoy flights when I know I'm in safe hands." How do you know if someone's truly safe? That's the question that should have saved 2 lives. Liana worked as a luxury travel consultant for Dubai's wealthiest families, organizing private jet trips to Mykonos, yacht parties in Monaco, exclusive access to events most people only see on Instagram. She moved through Dubai's elite circles like she was born into them, though she wasn't. Her apartment in downtown Dubai cost more than most people's houses, paid for by commissions from clients who trusted her with their most exclusive getaways. Their first date was at Nobu, Dubai Mall. Rami arrived expecting small talk. Liana delivered conversations about art, business, and dreams that made him forget he was supposed to fly to Singapore the next morning. She understood his world, the pressure, the responsibility, the weight of carrying hundreds of lives in your hands, every flight. "You're not like other pilots I've met," she told him over sake. "You've met many pilots?" he asked, half joking. "Enough to know the difference," she replied, touching his hand. That touch started everything, and ended everything. Within 3 months, Rami was restructuring his flight schedules around her availability. Within 6 months, he was introducing her to his family, a move that meant more in Emirati culture than signing a marriage contract. His mother loved her immediately. His father, notoriously hard to impress, called her the perfect addition to our family. Dubai's social scene embraced them like royalty. They appeared at charity galas, yacht parties, and exclusive events where photographers captured their seemingly perfect love story. She complemented his traditional values with her modern sophistication. He provided the stability and honor her ambitious lifestyle craved, or so everyone thought. Their engagement at the Burj Al Arab's Royal Suite was Dubai's social event of the year. 7-figure guest list, custom Vera Wang dress, diamond ring that required its own security detail. Every detail screamed perfection, from the helicopter arrival to the fireworks finale over the Palm Jumeirah. But here's what you need to understand about perfect couples. They're performing, not living. Have you ever been in a relationship where you felt like you had to be perfect all the time? where showing weakness meant losing love. Most of us have. Most of us survived it. Rami and Liana wouldn't be so lucky. Think about it. Every face you meet could be hiding a secret. If you value knowing the truth before it's too late, hit that subscribe button now. And if you're not subscribing, at least explain why in the comments. Because silence can be dangerous. The wedding invitation alone cost more than most people's cars, hand calligraphed in gold, delivered by personal courier to Dubai's most powerful families. The venue, Atlantis, the Palms Grand Ballroom, transformed into something straight out of Arabian Nights, crystal chandeliers worth millions, imported Italian marble dance floor, and flower arrangements that required their own refrigerated trucks. Rami's guest list read like a who's who of Middle Eastern aviation and business. Emirates executives, government ministers, oil company CEOs, and real estate moguls filled the VIP section. Liana's side brought Dubai's luxury lifestyle influencers, travel industry elites, and Malaysian diplomats who flew in specifically for the occasion. The ceremony itself was a masterpiece of cultural fusion. Traditional Emirati vows mixed with Malaysian customs, creating something uniquely theirs. Liana's dress, custom Eli Saab with hand-sewn pearls, required 3 assistants just to manage the train. Rami wore his grandfather's ceremonial khanjar, a curved dagger that had sealed business deals across the Gulf for generations. But weddings aren't marriages. Performances aren't relationships. Their social media exploded with congratulations. Rami and Liana trended for 3 days straight. Professional photographers captured every smile, every kiss, every perfectly choreographed moment. To the world watching, they were proof that fairy tales existed in real life. For their honeymoon, Liana suggested Bali. "Somewhere we can just be us," she said, "away from all the expectations." Rami agreed immediately. After months of public appearances, the idea of privacy felt like salvation. The villa he booked wasn't just luxurious, it was paradise engineered for Instagram. Perched on a cliff overlooking the Indian Ocean, it featured an infinity pool that seemed to melt into the horizon, a master bedroom with floor-to-ceiling windows, and a private beach accessible only by stone steps carved into the cliff face. Their personal butler, Maid, greeted them with fresh tropical fruits and chilled champagne. "Whatever you need, just call," he said, handing them a gold-plated phone. "This is your private sanctuary." Liana immediately started photographing everything. Pool selfies with the sunset backdrop, breakfast shots arranged like magazine spreads, couple photos that screamed relationship goals to their combined 200K followers. "Isn't this perfect?" she asked, posting another story. Rami smiled and nodded, but something felt off. In all the photos, they looked happy. In real moments between shots, something was missing. Connection, maybe. Or was it trust? Have you ever felt pressure to maintain perfect appearances, to post the happy photos while hiding the real struggles? Most of us create highlight reels that don't match our actual lives, but for some couples, the gap between image and reality becomes deadly. Their first 2 days followed the script perfectly. Temple visits, couples massages, romantic dinners under the stars. Liana documented everything with professional precision, crafting a honeymoon story that would make their friends jealous for years. But on night 3, a single text message would destroy their carefully constructed paradise forever. If you think appearances can protect you from tragedy, think again. This story proves danger hides behind perfect smiles. Subscribe so you're never caught off guard, and if you won't, drop your reason in the comments. But remember, sometimes not knowing is the biggest mistake. Night 1 in Bali. Champagne toasts and sunset kisses. Night 2. Couples massage and candlelit dinner. Their Instagram stories painted pure bliss, tropical paradise, designer swimwear, and captions about forever love. But cameras lie easier than people do. Between the posed shots, Rami noticed things, small things, uncomfortable things. Liana's phone buzzed constantly. "Business calls," she said. "Travel emergencies that couldn't wait, even on honeymoon." But who conducts business at midnight Dubai time? Who whispers into phones on beach walks supposedly meant for romance? Who was that? Rami asked after another late-night call. Just a client having issues with their Monaco reservation, Liana replied, sliding her phone face down. You know how demanding these people can be. He did know, but something in her voice didn't match her words. Their conversations felt scripted, like they were both reading lines for an audience that wasn't there. When she spoke about their future, her eyes focused somewhere beyond his shoulder. When he touched her hand, she responded correctly, but not naturally. Are you happy? He asked during their second sunset dinner. Of course, she said, immediately reaching for her phone to capture the moment. This is perfect. We're perfect. Perfect. That word was becoming poison. That night, while Liana took one of her endless showers, Rami sat on their villa's terrace, watching waves crash against the cliff below. His pilot training taught him to trust his instruments, even when visibility was zero. Right now, every instrument in his marriage was showing warning signals, but he couldn't see through the fog of honeymoon expectations. His phone buzzed. A message from Captain Hassan, his closest friend from Emirates. Bro, call me when you can. Something you need to know. Rami stared at the screen. Hassan never texted during his flights unless it was urgent. Really urgent. Can't talk now. What's wrong? Rami typed back. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Then Hassan's response arrived with an attachment symbol. Screenshots someone sent me. Thought you should see them before. The shower stopped running. Liana's footsteps approached the bedroom. Rami quickly closed the message without opening the attachments. Whatever Hassan needed to show him would have to wait, but the weight of that unopened message settled in his chest like turbulence at cruising altitude. You feel it coming before you see it. That night, Liana fell asleep immediately, her phone charging face down as always. Rami lay awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying every conversation, every glance, every moment that had felt slightly wrong. He didn't know that tomorrow would make everything clear, but what Rami was about to discover would shatter more than just his heart. People vanish, relationships implode, and lives are destroyed in the blink of an eye. If you're not subscribed, you might never hear the truth until it's too late. If you think that risk is worth it, tell us why in the comments. Morning came too slowly for Rami. While Liana slept peacefully beside him, her phone buzzed with notifications she'd answer later. He couldn't stop thinking about Hassan's message. His friend had never been dramatic, never sent mysterious texts. If Hassan said, "Something you need to know," it was something that would change everything. The breakfast maid served was perfect. Fresh tropical fruits, French pastries, coffee imported from Yemen. Liana photographed every angle, adding captions about blessed mornings and grateful hearts, but Rami barely touched his food. "You're quiet today," Liana observed, adjusting her bikini for another selfie. "Just thinking about work," he lied. "Forget about work. We're in paradise," she said, kissing his cheek for the camera. "Now smile. This one's going on the feed." After she disappeared for her morning spa appointment, Rami finally opened Hassan's message thread. His hands were already shaking before he saw the first image. The screenshots hit him like aircraft turbulence at maximum altitude. Photo 1. Liana in a hotel room, wearing lingerie he'd never seen before. She wasn't alone. A tall, blonde man, European features, expensive watch, hands where they shouldn't be. The timestamp read 3 weeks before their wedding. Photo 2. The same man, same room. This time, Liana was laughing at something he'd said, the kind of genuine laugh Rami hadn't seen from her in months, the kind of laugh that meant intimacy, comfort, familiarity. Photo 3. The location that destroyed him completely. Her office. The same luxury travel agency where she'd built her career, where she'd claimed to work late so many nights. The couch he'd sat on while waiting to pick her up was now occupied by his wife and another man, their bodies intertwined like they'd done this 1,000 times before. The final screenshot was a text conversation between Liana and the mystery man. "Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Same time. Always. R still has no clue. This is actually perfect timing with the wedding coming up. You're terrible. I love it. Love you too, Marcus. Love you too, Marcus." The phone slipped from Rami's hands, clattering against the marble floor. For a moment, the sound echoed through their paradise like gunshots. In Emirati culture, a man's honor isn't just personal, it's generational. It carries his father's name, his grandfather's legacy, the weight of bloodlines that built empires from desert sand. When a wife betrays her husband publicly, she doesn't just break his heart. She destroys his family's standing in the community. Every handshake becomes questionable. Every business deal carries whispers. Every social gathering becomes a performance of pretending not to notice the pitying looks. Hassan's follow-up message was simple. Someone from the Marriott sent these to multiple pilots. It's all over our group chats. I'm so sorry, brother. All over the pilot community. The same community where respect meant everything, where reputation determined promotions, where his father had once been honored at annual ceremonies. Now his name would be connected to this humiliation forever. Rami began pacing the villa like a caged animal. 3 years of relationship, 2 years of serious dating, 1 year of engagement planning, hundreds of thousands of dirhams spent on a wedding that was built on lies. Every "I love you" had been performance. Every intimate moment had been scheduled around her real relationship. The timeline made it worse. 3 weeks before their wedding meant she was with Marcus during their final dress fitting, during their bachelor and bachelorette parties, during the rehearsal dinner where she'd given a speech about finding her soulmate. How long had this been going on? How many late-night client emergencies were actually hotel meetings? How many business trips included him? How many people knew while Rami played the devoted fiancé? His phone buzzed again. Another message from Hassan. There are more photos. Dates going back 8 months. Do you want to see them? 8 months. Their entire engagement period. Rami collapsed onto the couch where they'd shared breakfast an hour earlier, where she'd kissed him for Instagram while planning her next secret meeting. How would you react to such a betrayal, when everything you believed about your life turned out to be carefully orchestrated fiction? Every betrayal leaves clues if you know where to look. Subscribing means you'll never miss the signs, and if you won't subscribe, explain in the comments what makes you so sure you'd see it coming. By the time Liana returned from her spa appointment, glowing with expensive treatments and already planning their afternoon photo session, Rami had made his decision. No more performances. No more perfectly curated moments. Today, the truth would come out. "Ready for our temple tour?" she asked, adjusting her designer sundress for maximum Instagram appeal. "The driver's already waiting, and the lighting will be perfect in an hour." "Cancel it," Rami said quietly. Liana paused, her phone halfway to her ear. "Cancel? But we already—" "Cancel it, Liana. We need to talk." Something in his voice made her lower the phone. For the first time since they'd arrived in Bali, she looked directly at him without checking her reflection or adjusting her angle for better lighting. "Talk about what?" she asked, but her voice had changed. The confidence wavered. Rami held up his phone, Hassan's screenshots still glowing on the screen. "About Marcus." The transformation was instant. Color drained from Liana's face like water from a broken glass. Her perfectly composed expression cracked, revealing something raw underneath. Panic, calculation, fear. "I don't know what you're talking about," she said automatically, but her hands were already shaking. 3 weeks before our wedding," Rami continued, his voice steady despite the storm inside him. "Your office, the Marriott. 8 months, Liana. 8 months of lies while I planned our future." She sat down heavily on the couch, her performance mask finally slipping completely. "Rami, please let me explain." "Explain?" The word came out like a gunshot. "Explain how you were with another man while I was choosing our honeymoon destination. Explain how you said, 'I love you too, Marcus,' while wearing the engagement ring I worked 2 years of overtime flights to afford." Liana's chest rose and fell rapidly. The woman who'd commanded Dubai's social scene with effortless grace now looked like a cornered animal. "It's not what it looks like," she whispered. "It's exactly what it looks like." Rami showed her another screenshot. "This is your handwriting on the hotel registry. This is your car in the parking garage. This is you, Liana, with your hands all over another man while our wedding invitations were being printed. The silence stretched between them like a blade. Outside their villa, waves continued their peaceful rhythm against the cliffs. Inside, a marriage was dying in real time. It was a mistake, she finally said. A stupid mistake that meant nothing. Nothing? Rami's laugh was bitter. 8 months is not a mistake. Planning secret meetings while planning our wedding is not a mistake. Telling him you love him is not a mistake. I never meant for you to find out. That's your concern. Getting caught? Rami stood up, pacing to the window overlooking their private paradise. Do you understand what this means? Not just to me, but to my family, my father's reputation in the aviation industry, my mother, who called you the daughter she never had. In Emirati culture, a man's honor extends far beyond personal heartbreak. When Hassan sent those screenshots to warn his friend, he wasn't just sharing gossip. He was trying to prevent a public humiliation that would follow Rami's family for generations. Business relationships built on trust and reputation would crumble. Social invitations would stop coming. The Al-Sayegh name, respected for decades, would become whispered conversation at every gathering. Your pilot friends are already talking, Rami continued. Airport staff, our wedding guests. How long before it reaches my father's business partners? How long before every handshake comes with pity instead of respect? Liana buried her face in her hands. I never wanted to hurt you. But you did. Every single day for 8 months you hurt me. Every time you kissed me after being with him. Every time you said you loved me while texting him. Every time you sat beside me at dinner and pretended to be the woman I thought I married. The weight of betrayal in Middle Eastern culture carries implications Western minds often miss. It's not just romantic disappointment, it's social destruction. Family honor, built over generations through business integrity and personal conduct, can be shattered by one member's choices. Rami wasn't just dealing with a cheating wife, he was watching his bloodline's reputation collapse in real time. I can explain everything, Liana said desperately. We can work through this. We can... No, Rami's voice was final. We can't work through 8 months of calculated deception. We can't work through you planning your next secret meeting while walking down the aisle toward me. We can't work through the fact that our entire relationship was built on lies. The afternoon sun cast long shadows across their villa, turning their paradise into something darker. What had started as a romantic getaway was becoming the stage for a reckoning that would change both their lives forever. What happened next would change both their lives forever. If you've ever trusted the wrong person, you know how costly it can be. Subscribe so you can recognize the danger signs before it's your turn. If you're still saying no, drop your reason in the comments. Because luck runs out. The afternoon confrontation left their villa feeling like a crime scene before any crime had been committed. Liana retreated to the bedroom, claiming she needed time to process everything. Rami stayed on the terrace, staring at the ocean that had seemed so peaceful just hours earlier. Maid, their butler, noticed the change immediately when he arrived for evening service. Everything okay, sir? He asked Rami, setting down fresh towels with professional discretion. Fine, Rami replied, though his hands were shaking as he reached for his phone. But Made had worked luxury hospitality for 15 years. He could read guests like weather patterns. The tension radiating from Villa 7 was unlike anything he'd experienced. Later he would tell investigators that Mr. Al-Sayegh seemed like a man who had lost everything but was still deciding what to do about it. At 6:30 p.m., Rami left the villa abruptly. The resort's security cameras captured him walking toward the main road, phone pressed to his ear, gesturing wildly as he spoke to someone. Staff members at the reception desk heard him asking about immediate flights back to Dubai and changing reservations. The front desk manager, Kadek, later testified that Captain Al-Sayegh appeared extremely agitated, sweating despite the air conditioning, and kept checking his watch like he was running out of time. But Rami didn't take any flight that night. At 8:15 p.m. he returned to the villa, carrying a small black bag that hadn't been with him when he left. The security guard at the resort entrance noted his return because of how different he looked. Calmer, but in a way that felt more dangerous than his earlier panic. Liana was on the balcony when he returned, wearing the white silk dress she'd packed for their romantic sunset dinner. She'd set up the scene perfectly. Champagne chilling in ice, candles flickering in glass holders, her phone positioned to capture the golden hour lighting. Even in crisis, she was performing. "I ordered room service," she called out as he entered. "Your favorite. I thought maybe we could talk properly, work through this like adults." Rami said nothing. He went straight to their bedroom, the black bag in his hand. The argument that followed could be heard 3 villas away. Mrs. Chen, staying in Villa 4 with her family, later told police that the shouting started around 9 p.m. It was in English mostly, but also Arabic. Very angry. The woman kept saying, "Please," and "I'm sorry." The man kept saying something about family and honor. The sound of breaking glass came around 9:30 p.m., then sudden quiet. At 11:47 p.m., 3 gunshots shattered the tropical night. The first shot came from inside the villa. The second and third followed within seconds, echoing across the cliff face before disappearing into the ocean below. Security arrived within minutes, following protocols for any disturbance. They found the front door unlocked, the living room undisturbed except for champagne glasses on the coffee table, one still full, one shattered on the marble floor. Liana's body was discovered on the balcony, sprawled beside the overturned dining table she'd set for their reconciliation dinner. The white silk dress was stained red, her phone still recording what was supposed to be their romantic evening. The final video on her story showed candles and sunset, posted just 20 minutes before the shots were fired. Rami sat in a chair facing the balcony, a 9mm pistol loose in his hands, staring at nothing. When security called his name, he didn't respond. When police arrived, he was still sitting in exactly the same position. The weapon wasn't registered to him, wasn't legal in Indonesia. Later investigation revealed he'd purchased it from a street contact in Denpasar. The black bag from his evening trip contained the gun and a single box of ammunition. "I couldn't let her destroy my family's name," were his first words to the arriving officers. "She was going to keep lying, keep performing, keep making fools of all of us." The crime scene told the story of a marriage that had died twice, once that afternoon during their confrontation, and again that night with bullets fired in rage and humiliation. Resort guests were evacuated from nearby villas. The infinity pool that had provided perfect Instagram backdrops was now reflecting police lights. Maid found the scene when he came to turn down their beds, a service that would never be needed again. The paradise that had promised them privacy for healing had instead provided the perfect location for a tragedy that would shock 2 countries and leave families destroyed on opposite sides of the world. Some people think it could never happen to me. They're usually the ones who never see it coming. Subscribe now to protect yourself with knowledge. If you're staying unsubscribed, write your reason below, and remember, silence won't save you. The news hit Dubai's social media before it reached traditional outlets. Rami and Liana, which had trended during their wedding celebrations just weeks earlier, exploded again, this time with horror instead of congratulations. The same Instagram accounts that had shared their love story now posted shocked reactions and deleted previous celebration posts. Emirates Airlines immediately suspended Captain Al-Sayegh pending investigation, though he would never return to any cockpit. The Al-Sayegh family, pillars of Dubai's merchant community for generations, found their business relationships strained overnight. Clients questioned, contracts reviewed. The family honor Rami had killed to protect was destroyed anyway by his actions. In Bali, the luxury resort industry faced uncomfortable questions about guest security and background checks. Villa 7 was closed indefinitely, its infinity pool and sunset views now associated with tragedy rather than romance. Tourism officials worked to contain the story's impact on Indonesia's reputation as a safe honeymoon destination. The legal proceedings lasted 18 months. Indonesian courts sentenced Rami to life imprisonment for premeditated murder, rejecting his defense team's arguments about cultural honor and temporary insanity. Liana's family in Malaysia demanded answers about why resort security had failed to prevent the illegal firearm purchase. Cultural debates raged across social media and news programs. Was this about toxic masculinity disguised as traditional values? Could communication have saved both lives? Western commentators focused on domestic violence patterns, while Middle Eastern voices emphasized the complexity of honor cultures colliding with modern relationship dynamics. The Marcus connection remained largely unexamined by media coverage. He disappeared from social platforms immediately after news broke, avoiding interviews and leaving Dubai within days of Liana's death. His role in the tragedy became a footnote rather than a central element. The man whose affair triggered everything faced no consequences beyond personal guilt. What could have been done differently? Marriage counselors point to communication breakdown, how Rami never directly addressed his concerns before that final day. Legal experts highlight the dangerous ease of illegal weapon access in tourist areas. Cultural specialists discuss the need for honor-based societies to adapt to modern relationship complexities without violence. But the simplest lesson might be the hardest. Perfect couples don't exist. Social media highlights hide relationship struggles that could benefit from professional help rather than public performance. The pressure to maintain appearances, whether for family honor or Instagram followers, can turn manageable problems into deadly situations. Two families lost everything. A marriage built on lies ended in murder. A paradise resort became a crime scene. All because truth was too dangerous to speak until it was too late to matter. Dubai's social elite still whisper about them at charity galas. Bali resort staff still remember the couple who seemed so perfect until they weren't. And somewhere, in an Indonesian prison, Rami Al-Sayegh has the rest of his life to consider whether his family's honor was worth destroying completely. What could have been done differently? Share your thoughts in the comments below and let us know where you're watching from. If you've watched all the way to the end, you already know this could happen to anyone. Friend, family, even you. Subscribing is the smallest step you can take to stay aware. If you still refuse, tell us why in the comments. But one day you might wish you hadn't scrolled past this warning.